Kayla, Kayla, how do you pick an audition piece, or do you have several for different types of roles?
Definitely have a nice handful of ones that I can pull out essentially whenever is necessary for the overall theme or message you're trying to get across with the piece.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like finding new stuff, what I've loved doing recently is looking at like National Theater Live or looking at New York Times like best ranked plays and kind of going on Scribd, which is a great platform, and looking up those scripts, and you can download them online, which is nice. And I download them, and I've been finding pieces that way of finding new shows or writers who I really vibe with, or like Phoebe Wallers, who wrote Fleabag. I'm obsessed with her, and so she has been doing a lot of interviews lately with all the Fleabag excitement, and she said some of her favorite writers or playwrights. So I'm like, oh, well, if she likes those people, I probably will like those people. So it's kind of like having a scavenger hunt online, and luckily so many theaters are doing live broadcasts of shows, so theater's even more attainable right now in finding new materials too.
It seems to me like this could really explode theater again. Not that theater isn't good now, but I mean, I just see it reaching more people and being more accessible. I kind of fell out of theater. At least I would see it here, but I wasn't in a city anymore. And I really like underground theater and things that are really kind of edgy sometimes, or just like really grassroots, like just people writing plays and things like that. And so that's what I was kind of hoping that could happen now, as people could decide not to wear so much makeup, people could decide just to be themselves, and that maybe more people would tell their stories. And Tracy likes stories a lot, and things like that. So we were thinking that this was a good story place, and that even just us could do a couple nights a week for something to do for fun, and try to, and since we know a few people, and SCRT was our platform, even though I was never in the professional or anything like that, but I've always been going or in little plays here and there. And so now we're doing it. and so it's, and I like,
and also just like, well, you can call up anybody or your friends and have them read stuff to you, which is awesome. It's like, what if I said, hey, Lora, I'm just feeling kind of like I need a connection with the world. Can you read me a play for like 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I would never do that, but that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We're it's really all about our needs in some way.
Well, and we're in this little town, and then we get Kayla, and you're like a working actor in New York, and you're also hooked up with different things to know where to look for an audition, and to have different auditions. I mean, that's your job, that's your calling, girl. That's for sure. Also, since we talked a little bit about looking, and who do you get to coach you with your audition? Do you like send it off to a friend, or do you just look at yourself over and over?
It's funny. I've been working with a coach on and off for a while, specifically for acting. She's a director across the country. She's wonderful. Her name's Melissa Anderson, and she and I were working pretty consistently together. And now that you have nothing but time, it's funny. I feel like I've been trusting my own instincts a little more in terms of like sending off video auditions. And so frankly, I've been doing a lot of my own editing and doing lots of takes. And it's funny because, like my mom has been my reader for projects, which is fun because, she's like, I have no theater background, so why not? So it's been a lot of me right now. And I'm just starting to jump back into taking voice lessons again, because I've been doing my own voice stuff just for fun and feeling creative fulfillment. But now I'm like, okay, time to get down to business. It's been over a month of being in quarantine in Oregon, as opposed to just New York and Oregon. So it's been a lot of me right now, which is interesting, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I don't want.
So are you in Oregon right now, or are you in?
Yeah, I'm in Oregon right now. I'm in Bend.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and also, and another thing I wanted just to touch on, as far as cold reading, I mean, I'm sure that's probably just a lot you studied in, and do you go on? So you were saying a little bit earlier about your friends going on and reading together. So before this platform, did you just, I don't know, pick plays and read them? I mean, like cold readings, that was always the hardest thing for me in auditions. In the auditions is the cold reading. It's like, wow, this is so weird. And sometimes you're like perfect for the part, and you're you could do it better than whoever is they're going to cast, but your cold readings stuck.
Well, yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, because I think this is the skill that hopefully all the smart actors will pull out of quarantine and frankly, I'm a firm believer in that everyone needs to grieve and process this in their own way. And for me, like, I was super gung-ho, like the day I came to Oregon from New York, I was like, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to set up these play readings with my friend Kate. I'm going to do this and this and this. And this past week, I did a Facebook post about it, but like, it's just been so emotionally draining. But now I've got like other play readings on the docket, and I'm like, this is what's going to make me feel creatively fulfilled. So bringing it back to your question, so in terms of the New York audition process that I've been a part of with musicals or straight plays, if I get a call back for a project, I at least have 24 hours with the materials for me to become comfortable with it. For the initial audition, you have more, and then for callbacks, they're like, okay, let's see how much you bring to the table with 24 hours notice sometimes, or less. And when it comes to that sort of stuff, luckily, like, you have the sides that they give you of the dialogue that you have between your character and other characters, if your character has more book scenes. But what's interesting is that through this quarantine time and this crisis, I really feel like it has strengthened my cold reading abilities, because what I've been challenging myself to do in the play readings, so we've had them essentially every week, 1 or 2 plays, and it's been a gamut of genres. So we've had a lot of contemporary stuff, but we've had some old school classical pieces as well. And what I've challenged myself to do is that my friend Kate and I picked really well-known plays that we were like, we know the importance of being earnest. We know Pride and Prejudice. We do this in our sleep. Cool. But then like finding newer pieces that I remember seeing once, and I'm like, I love this. I'm not going to read the play beforehand, and challenge myself to just in the moment trust with what my scene partners are giving me on screen, and then make an acting executive decision in the moment. And I'd like to think of myself as a pretty playful and bold auditioner and actor. So it's been a nice challenge for me, because I'm a pre-planner when it comes to scenes and songs. I'm like, I'm going to do this on this line. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to write it all out. And it's like a treasure map where you try to connect the dots and you're like, oh, there's the gold. Great. So it's been interesting to do these play readings with friends and having someone else cast it, of like a show maybe I wouldn't necessarily put myself in. Like, for example, we read Bad Jews yesterday by Joshua Harmon, which is a fantastic play for millennials especially. And this one character, like, her character description is like meek and soft-spoken and really sweet, and she has a barrette in her hair. And for anyone who knows me, that is the complete opposite of me. I'm very loud and abrasive. I'm a ginger by trade. Hello. So that's been a nice challenge. And I told myself, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to read this play. I know the play, but I'm not going to read it beforehand, and I'm just going to jump in. And it's such a nice lesson in trusting your instincts as an actor, because it's so easy, I think, especially during a rehearsal process or an audition, in reading the room of physical human beings in the room, it's easy to tell when a joke lands. It's easy to tell when you're affecting people emotionally. The list goes on with people in the room. So it's been a nice challenge also virtually to just have my little script right to the left of my screen and then have the Zoom screen to the right. And I'm just looking at that script and I'm like, all right, here we go. Oh, Sam gave me that. Okay, cool. And I'm going to respond with this. It's so interesting. And I don't know if I necessarily would have gotten better at that had it not been with this experience with Zoom. It's so interesting and exciting.
Yeah, I think it's like a renaissance for all different kinds of art and ways to communicate. I I know it's upsetting and everybody, is worried and some people are really have terrible time. They don't have food or whatever. But as far as time to do your art, time to have your theater, and theater is supposed to be the people's voice, that we don't have to do the same shows over and over. I mean, the same shows are wonderful and we love them, but this could give, authors and actors and maybe some people that never would have been on stage or, a lot of cool things could happen this way.
I just got done with a reading of Black Coffee by Agatha Christie, and there were only 3 actors in that whole group of like 17, and it was kind of amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's
no,
funny.
I think it's totally, yeah.
Go for it, Tracy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just think it's completely transforms the idea of the audience. Because I'm sitting here looking at you from what feels like a foot while you read something. And so I have access to a lot of different things about body language and tone of voice and everything that I wouldn't have if I was 10 feet away from you.
Yeah.
So suddenly the intimacy, which I love, I love feeling that kind of intenseness.
Yeah,
in a theater.
Feel like
and
you're
so this is that.
Right. And that's what I love too, is that it feels very much like black box theater, which is my favorite. If I can see the sweat off of an actor's forehead, I am so over the moon.
Our show is almost up. The time is almost up. Have anything you want to tell Trinidad or your audience?
I love you. I love all the Trinidadians. I'm going to encourage everyone to donate to your local theater and to donate to those creatives right now, because everyone is struggling financially, emotionally, all of that. But the creatives, and this goes for artists and designers and instructors, like across the board through all forms of art, everyone is struggling emotionally right now and creatively right now, especially. Yeah. And I think that what we should be doing is looking forward to future and getting excited about what our theaters are going to bring to the table, both virtually and in person. And I think that I encourage everyone, if you're fortunate enough to give to your local theater, because at the end of the day, like, the artists are going to be the ones who pull us out of the hole and bring joy back. So.
Oh, I love that. Kayla, would you be interested in coming back if I can get an improv group going?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Come on. Yeah.
Okay. So fun. Yeah. I'm always trying these little half thought through games that are improv-y, and Laura's very generous.
Yeah, Jean Schumann used to do stuff at SCRT, and she's in Denver, and I know she does improv as a living. Like, that's her thing. And then I have a friend in Hawaii, and she loves improv, and she's like me. We're just like little girls. We just want to do theater. We're not, doing it. But I thought it would be fun to try to eventually get a group together to do some improv on here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Message me, please. I love that.
I will. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
It was so fun. I'm so happy I got
to
the nerve.
So fun.
I was like, oh, she's so
so
nice.
fun to hear you talk about this. It's so awesome.
All right.